Hello everyone, my name is Charles.
Hi, I'm Dynasty.
And this is Mental Health in the Hood.
And welcome to the Mental Health Show.
Good job.
All right, as always. So today we have a special guest. We have Isaiah in the building. You want to say hello to the people?
Hello world.
Okay, so Isaiah is going to be here to talk about his experiences with PTSD, and we're so excited to have him on the show. He is our first guest on the Mental Health Show, so this is a very special moment. But other than that, today's topic of today is PTSD in your neighborhood.
Wait a minute, we got to get some shots out now.
Okay, shout outs and celebrations. You know, I was moving a little bit too fast, but I'm back. Okay, so the first shout out goes to our 23 participants who attended our Zoom self-care and COVID meetup that was happening on Wednesday, May 13th. The energy in the room was like great. The bravery, people showing up, telling their experiences, being vulnerable, sharing their self-care practices and how other people can use them in different situations. The energy was just real, like, engaging, right?
It was great because just people just sharing their stories, being vulnerable, people giving them feedback, them type of things, man, it really helped a person like process the stuff that they're going through. And it was just a lot of love. You know, all the love that we give back to people, to the everyday people, is a beautiful thing for mental health in the hood.
Right, and I think the people are also happy that we created a space to even be able to have those type of conversations. So that was also inspiring. Shout out to the people who have subscribed, follow, or just joined the movement of mental health in the hood. We really appreciate your support. We can't do none of this work without you guys, and we want to make sure that we always appreciate you guys right off the top. So
much love, much love.
Yes, much love to the people. So at this point, we're going to dive right into the interview. But first, we want to start off with what is PTSD? Because I think everybody has their general perception of what PTSD is, and that's fine. But we want to give a more generic definition of PTSD. So PTSD is a mental illness. It involves exposure to trauma involving death or the threat of death, serious injury, or sexual violence. Symptoms of PTSD could be flashbacks, nightmares, panic attacks, eating disorders, cognitive delays. Everybody can be impacted differently. So if you do have any symptoms of PTSD, make sure you reach out to a local mental health center close by you. So as we get started, we know what PTSD is. Let's figure out the next part of the interview. Go ahead, Dad.
Hey, Isaiah, how you feeling, man?
Oh, I'm doing good today. I'm doing
good, man. We just got a few questions for you. Just want to get part of your story in and things like that. You feeling okay though, huh?
Doing good.
Okay. I'm really trying to get you to smile a little bit. That's all.
But the good thing is that I think we need to let people know where Isaiah is from, right? And how we know each other. So me and Isaiah, we both grew up in the same neighborhood, and we both graduated from Dorsey High School. And I'm really inspired by the work he is doing in the community for his people and for himself. And I feel like he's a great representation of a black male in our community that's doing something positive. And I'm really inspired by him. And that's why we chose him as the first interview for the show.
Yes. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. And, just basically give us you. That's all we're looking for. So one of my first questions is, what is your understanding of PTSD? And what is the biggest misconception you hear about PTSD?
Well, let me see. What I understand about PTSD was nightmares, people waking up, like trauma. When I think of PTSD, people who shake a lot, paranoia, a lot of people who just society look at them as crazy, very like off-centered people at all times.
Did you go through any of them symptoms yourself?
Absolutely. Going through life, seeing death. So many of my friends going to over about 40 funerals.
Man.
From seeing people one day to not seeing them the next day, to being in the car with them one day, to never seeing them again, to having to watch their mom cry over their bodies, and just seeing them laid out, blood and guts, and
So how did that affect you, like emotionally?
Well, it's like all different 40 deaths it gave me different emotions. Like some deaths made me mad, angry, wanting revenge. Some deaths made me sad. Some deaths made me scared.
Right.
Some deaths made me give up.
Yeah. Was it a certain point in your life that you feel like you gave up? Whether it was started acting out in bad behavior or just not just feeling depressed, anything like that?
Well, actually, life was all fun and games. Everything was perfect until our friend Marcel died.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got him tatted right here on my arm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so once he died at the age of 15. Once he died, that's when we found out. I was 14.
Yeah, we was 14.
And when he passed away, and a lot of us seen him.
Right.
Yeah, so
Okay. And I believe. Do you feel like it's a misconception that's out there about PTSD?
the biggest myth is that they crazy and that there's no help out there.
Right.
That's the biggest. It's always help.
Yeah, because I believe there's always a reason why a person act the way that they act.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe that. I appreciate that, man. That's some good answers, man. Good
Yeah.
answers.
Zay bringing in the energy today. Okay. So my next question is going to piggyback off my dad's question about, like, I remember we was 14 years old when we first heard about the experience with Marcel and everything that happened. I think that was our first understanding of, like, we could die, right? Or this could be us, this could happen to us. And I feel like it really took us, I think a lot of us were like, you know, we were always hanging out at the park or being around each other, and I think that's the first time we ever knew that death could really exist with us. Not like saying it never existed, but I think we really knew it was real that day and how we experienced that. So I know that outside of Marcel, you have been around like multiple situations where people have died or been shot or just a lot of traumatic experiences around death. How has it impacted you, like as a person, and how has it impacted how you see yourself as a man in society? And you can take your time because it's like two questions.
Yeah, take your time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first question, how does it affect me? Their deaths?
Mm-hmm. Like just back to back, the way people have passed away. Because we have some people who passed away just from natural causes. Like we had Skip who passed away from a natural cause. Not everybody passed away for the same reason.
Like I said, it's like different emotions. Like you would have to ask about that certain person for me to actually tell you how I felt about how I felt when that happened. So it was like different emotions. Most of it was like, I can remember one person that died and it was just like, it's over. It was just like, F it, let's go do it, whoever, whenever, and that was the mentality for years, and a lot of people never shook out of that mentality. Some people got lost in that trauma. Some people got lost in that ain't no tomorrow, we next, let's just party up, YOLO, live YOLO, YOLO. Everybody was yelling YOLO, you only live once.
And that's the trip because it's a lot of people that actually feel that way, right? It's like y'all get together and y'all bring all this energy.
But I feel like everybody feel like that, but it's people out here, it's help out here for everybody.
Right.
If you seek it in the right place.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of help out here.
Okay.
But we need more help. And we need more funding. We need more people like y'all too.
Yeah, we trying, man. We trying to do it.
And we need y'all to come out here and we need funding because we get it the worst.
Yeah.
And it's nobody who, it's help out here, but it's like you have to go seek it when we need the help to come to us. Because a lot of people don't know how to seek it.
Yep, they don't know how to ask or even put the words together to ask.
Okay.
And I think from just those multiple situations, like, how did you think, like, just seeing most of them were black and brown people, how did that impact the way you seen yourself as a man in society? Did you think that could be you too? Did it make you feel like, you know, some people felt like...
It made me not care about, for a minute, it made me not care about humans. Like, I see humans as nothing. It's just like you just look at people like they nothing. and that's what their life is worth, and that's what my life was worth at that time. It was just like, we both worth nothing. Let's just, it's a race. If you gonna get me, let me get somebody.
Yeah, I've been through that process too. Been through that process, man. That's a tough process to go through when you look at everybody as not human and you just doing what you're doing because that's the way you feel in the inside. So I get that. But I want to take you more to a little bit positive note, and I want to ask you, what type of support system do you rely on?
Well, I get my support from different places. Some support come from my girlfriend. Some support come from my community. Some support come from my boss. So I talk to a lot of people, and I try to get a lot of people different perspectives on stuff. But what helped me the most was actually not people. Was actually YouTube. Going on YouTube and watching videos like Les Brown.
Yeah, I know Les Brown.
I love Les
man.
Brown. I love you some Les Brown.
Les Brown,
man, I could say his whole thing right now to you. Whole 30-minute speech. I could say it back. Oh man, I know every word. Yeah, but having that positive self-talk, like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Like having that positive self-talk. If you don't hear, if everything you hear is negative, that's what you're gonna put out in the world.
Exactly.
If you don't never hear nothing positive, it's no positive gonna come from that negative.
And that's why I always say surrounding yourself with good people is key.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's very key.
It's very key.
To coping in this world, you have to be around good energy and good people because life brings you twists and turns. So you have to be able to do that, man. It sounds like you got a pretty good support system.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. I have another one for you. Okay. Can you name 2 coping skills that you use for your everyday living? So take a minute to think about that. 2 coping skills that's a go-to for you.
Like a stress reliever?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Well, one, I work out. Well, before they closed the gyms down to Corona.
Well, you can still do some push-ups or something like that.
Yeah, but it don't feel the same.
No, it don't feel the same.
It don't feel the same.
I agree with
It
you.
don't.
You know, because it's all
don't.
about that environment, and you know, and you got everything, and you ain't got to do as many push-ups if you can hit this 10 times.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what else?
So working out and really listening to the YouTube. I spend most of my time listening to motivational people, only because I hear so much negative all day. The rap music, I like it. That's all I listen to. I don't listen to nothing else.
Right.
But it's all negative. Everything is negative. There ain't nothing positive in it. But
is there any good books you read?
only book that I actually, that I'm studying is The 48 Laws of Power.
Okay.
I'm studying that.
I read that.
I mean,
10 years, no, probably about 15 years ago.
Yeah, about reading. I'm more like, I really like to listen to audios. Like
Audiobooks.
I just listened to the whole 50 Cent audio. Oh, he got a great book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad
I'm liking 50.
Well, I'm glad that you identify with your coping skills because you need that, man. So
Yeah, absolutely.
always rely on that.
But we gotta teach the community that. It's like we gotta bring out something because our community is struggling and we need the mental. We need it.
That's why we're here, and I'm glad that you speak it on because when people see you, you encourage people to talk about what they're going through. So that's going to be a beautiful thing.
And it's okay to be honest.
Yeah.
Cause ain't nobody gonna judge you. Everybody been through stuff.
Everybody.
If you ask Dynasty what she been through, if you ask him what he been through, hey. If you ask me what I've been through, when I've been through it all, but different stuff.
Right.
And that's how life gonna go. But you need a support system.
Yes.
And I think that's the reason why we started Mental Health in the Hood, because there was no platform for our people to talk about it.
You're right.
And the platforms that was created was systemic. So a lot of people didn't trust those environments. So people we do have a lot of resources, but people don't trust in the systems. They don't trust in the people. They don't trust in the resources. And most of them are owned by white supremacists on top of that. So that's just something that I think that we're still trying to, you know, navigate through. But I think that the fact that we have this platform now, and as we grow, I think the fact that this show is for the voice of the people, we're creating a platform where people can share their story, where other people won't be able to share our narrative no more. We gonna share the narrative about how we experience it, and that's what we want. So, thank you, Isaiah.
Thank you, man. Good job, man. Good job.
So I think my next question is, Isaiah has done like a lot of positive things in the community in terms of like with his social media, by always highlighting people for their birthday, or always just showing love to people no matter what age bracket they were in. Also, he throws a Christmas party every year that's actually held on Christmas. And I remember back in the day, since I was like 24, I think 24 or 23. How old were you when you first started throwing Christmas parties?
Nah, like maybe like 20.
20?
Okay.
Yeah, that is right. It was about 20. So they would throw all of these Christmas parties every year, and it would bring out the whole neighborhood. When I mean the whole neighborhood, people we ain't seen in years. People we ain't seen in days. And you would know that if you went to a Zay party, you would see him. And it wasn't just our neighborhood, it was other females and males that we went to school with that had that Zay had like a strong influence with, you know, in relationships with. So can you tell us like what made you have these events, and like what inspires you to do that?
Well, honestly, it started from trauma, because only time I would see my friends and we'd party and celebrate was for a funeral. Every time. Like, it was like, that was the normal thing. It was like, oh, what you gonna wear to this? Like, it was like, you know, like, you know somebody gonna die, so it's like, oh, let me get this outfit, you know, let me do this, because it's, only time we have it, everybody dressed up, looking good, having fun, it's for a funeral.
Wow. Okay. So what inspired you to say, I'm gonna do something different? I'm gonna bring us together for something different?
Because I felt like I kind of felt like it was so disrespectful that we was having, like, we was like celebrating something so traumatic, and it's like, it was kind of like, I didn't want to be a part of it, but it was like, that was the only fun. Like, yeah, so it was like,
that was the norm.
Yeah, it was like, that was the only time you see, that's the only time you will see Dynasty.
Right.
That's the only time you will see me. That's the only time you will see this person.
Okay, so you want to do it just for some joy moments.
Yeah.
Like everybody smiling, getting together for a good reason, instead of just for funerals.
Exactly.
So people was now, so basically all day you would hear people saying, yo, I'm about to go here real quick so I can get my outfit to go to Zay thing. That was the new narrative about getting dressed and actually going somewhere.
Okay.
So it all started from just having, I seen the way everybody had too much fun after the funeral. Not I won't say during the funeral, everybody crying and everything, but after the funeral, everybody drinking, everybody dancing, everybody having fun, which is cool, but I looked at it like, that's like a sign of disrespect that we over here having this much fun in this situation. So I tried to reverse it. So I just, hey, let me have a party.
And so how long you been having these community parties?
So if it was if 20, that was 2010.
Did you throw one last year?
Last year.
Is that right?
This year.
Okay.
I think it was before that. I think it was 2019 that you started your parties. About 2019. Oh, no, it wasn't 2019, but 2009, I think is when you started.
Hey, it was.
Yeah, because, I know for sure, because I remember like the certain timeline. Yeah.
What a good thing about it, it's still going, people.
It's still going. The movement is still going.
Everybody's still coming out.
Yes. And I think that, like, did you notice that you had that type of influence on the people in your community? Did you know that you was like shifting the culture of like what that was gonna look like? Did you kind of start to feel it later, or?
At first, no, because I was sitting there praying, like, I hope people come to this party. I hope these people come to this party. And then 30 people came, and 50 people came, and it was 200, and it was 1,000 people. It was just, it was just ridiculous.
And he had it in fly areas, so it was like always in the hills. It was nice.
I went from one little small room to it was packed out. Then I had to get the bigger room. Then I had to get an even bigger room. So.
Okay. Well, that's good, man. I commend you for that, man. That's good stuff right there.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So with that being said, now that you have like shifted the narrative and added to the culture of bringing people together for something positive, what do you think that we can do as for our company that can kind of continue to add to what you're doing and what other people are doing, and really making sure that we align mental health matters? Like, what do you think?
Well, we just need everybody who see this, who going through something, to contact them. If you need help, this is what it's here for. They answer emails, they answer phone calls, they answer texts, they call you, they show up, whatever you need. That's what they here for.
Man, I appreciate that, man. And that's what we are here for. You know, we put ourselves out there for the community. We just regular, everyday people, and we just want to be a part of something that can become great. You know, that can help people. Anytime that you're helping people, giving back, regardless of who you are, is a great thing. You know, it has its barriers and things like that, but we're going to do whatever we can do, and we need everybody out there to support our movement, because it's y'all movement too.
And it's no judgment. It's no judgment.
Exactly.
No judgment.
And that's the biggest thing, because a lot of people be scared to express how they feel or express what they went through in life. And if you hear somebody else's story, they got worse stories than you.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that.
So I know some people may want to know, like, if they are struggling with PTSD, which stands for post-traumatic stress disorder, what ways do they have to cope with that? So I know that Isaiah named some few things where he talked about using motivational speeches and also working out. Do you want to share one, Dad, or something that you use to cope?
Well, he shared one of the ones I like is basically, I like the working out, but everybody doesn't work out. I always go to someone. Like before, I didn't know how to talk to people about my feelings, to ask for help.
Right.
But when I realized, when I put my emotions out there, it gives us an opportunity to be protected and give me answers to do what I need to do. So I also do self-talk like Isaiah do. And just for me, that positive self-talk every day, because I spend a lot of time with myself. Sometimes people probably feel like spending a lot of time with yourself is not a good thing, but it really is, because it allows you to think about the things that you might be going through. But I also try to pick my battles too, because sometimes your mind can play tricks on you. And so at times like that, when you think about some things, you just got to let it fly.
Right.
And things that matter, that you have control of, them are the things that you try to deal with. And that's some of the things that I do, because in my lifestyle that I have seen so much happen, so much things that I prayed for, that it didn't come when I wanted to come, but eventually it came down the line. So I have learned how to value my patience, you know, to value my hope, to always stay hopeful when things are going bad. So I get that type of energy just from my support system, and just me just practicing good behavior under pressure.
Yeah.
So
that's one of yours.
Yeah, I do pretty good at that.
Yeah, you went in. You said about 3. I asked for 1, but it's all good. I love you.
It's hard. But it's hard to
still
just
no
say
judgment.
Yeah.
There's still no judgment.
One of the things that I do is that I write poetry. So there is power, there is healing in writing, and there's power in healing. So
Yeah, that's true.
I write a lot of poetry. So if I'm feeling frustrated, the topic of my poem will be I'm frustrated. And I will literally go in. And when I come out of that state of mind, I'll go back and reevaluate what I said. And it was good just to see that I let it out. Because sometimes I can't trust my friends with what I have to say. Sometimes a lot of people haven't experienced what I experienced, so I'm not comfortable sharing, because I'm looking for someone that has similar experiences to kind of help me. So when a lot of people haven't experienced the same things, I'm like, you know what, let me talk to God. You know what I mean? But if I'm really like frustrated, sad, annoyed, or worried, I put it out on writing. So that's something that I do. So in my phone, I have like a note section, and I have like already 10 poems that I just write. And sometimes I share them with the community, and sometimes I don't, because they're really sacred to me. But that's another way that you can deal with your coping strategy. So I would say also do regular physical activity, practice healing through writing, avoid drugs and alcohol.
Yes.
Because those things are set up in our community for a reason. So I wouldn't say not enjoy yourself or to not be an adult, but I'm just saying be responsible. And
don't abuse it. That's
don't
what she
abuse
said.
it, you know. And then join a support group or practice relaxation techniques. So I practice Tai Chi. Yoga doesn't really work for me, but some people may do. But you can try different type of, programs or different type of dance groups or whatever that you feel comfortable with that can help you relieve some of that stress. So since we are tying up the end of the interview, Isaiah, do you have any questions for us before we close out?
Yeah, I just want to let everybody know. I don't have any questions.
Okay.
I just want to say a few statements.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I just want to thank y'all because right now we're sitting in the jungles, the Baldwin Village, the Black Beverly Hills.
Yes. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
I like the Black Beverly Hills.
And we need this mental health because the hood is suffering the most.
Yeah.
And we from this community. This is where we from. Nobody else. No, this is our community.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't start here, we can't start nowhere.
Yes.
Nope.
So once we start here and heal our community, then we can help everybody community around the world.
Mm-hmm.
But they gonna need y'all support.
Yeah.
They gonna need y'all liking, subscribing, sharing, reposting,
Yes.
all that.
Yeah.
Because everybody counting on us.
That's right, man. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Much
Sure.
love, man. Much
Sure.
love.
And I enjoy myself. So y'all come out here. Don't be scared. Hey, it's breeze. They got me a little bottle of water. It's cold. Hey, I'm good.
Yeah.
They let me pick my hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, ain't no judgment.
Yeah.
Come on out.
That's right.
All right. So as we close out, thank you again, Isaiah. This means so much to us.
Yeah, man.
I couldn't have thought about the first interview with anybody else. I remember I was telling my dad about interviews, and I was like, I have somebody. I didn't even ask you yet. I was like, but he's gonna do it. Like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
put you out
talk
there.
to him.
She put you out
And
there.
he's
boy.
gonna do it. And so, I mean, I'm just, this is just dope. Like, this is something that we're making in history. It's the first time ever being made in our neighborhood. So we're basically building a platform. So please join the movement. Our next Zoom meetup, our Power Hour, will be held on Wednesday, June 10th at 7 p.m. The topic of discussion will be PTSD in your neighborhood. So we are going to create a space and allow everybody to kind of share, what does PTSD look like in your neighborhood? Maybe it wasn't shootings, maybe it wasn't death, maybe it was something else. And we would like to hear that, and other people would like to hear about your experiences in your neighborhood, and also how it helped to shape you as a person, and what coping strategies you may use to basically, get through it.
Exactly.
So in order for you to get access, you have to go to Mental Health in the Hood on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. And you have to basically look at the flyer, and it has the access code at the bottom. So please join in Wednesday, June 10th, okay? So the next thing is we are looking for referrals. So we are still looking for people to be interviewed in the topic of PTSD. So if you know anybody, like Isaiah said, this is a brave space.
Yeah.
This is a good space where we can
No
be able to have these
judgment.
no
No
judgment,
judgment.
right? So if you have anybody else who you feel like would like to be referred for their discussion, or say for instance, if you would like to share your story, feel free to reach out. And say for instance, if you actually want to share your story but you're a little bit nervous, we can have a conversation with you on the phone or in person,
Yes,
just
we
to
can.
kind of help and guide you. So that support is there.
Right.
So basically, make sure you stay tuned, subscribe, tap in. Our next episode, support.
And go the extra mile. They might need a cash app. They need support.
Mhm.
They in the hood. They helping our community.
Yes.
Like, these are people that need the most.
Yes.
I know y'all want to support Jay-Z and P. Diddy and all the other people, but they not in the hood. These people in the hood. You see where they at. That's where they been at. They ain't going nowhere.
They ain't went nowhere.
Come on.
Period. So episode 5 will drop on June 4th, 2020, of course, on Sunday at 9 a.m. So please make sure you tap in episode 5. Thank you guys for coming. Make sure you subscribe to our channel at Mental Health in the Hood, and you guys have a great day.
Thank you. Everyday people.
All is well.